Welcome to summer. Oh man, the boys of summer are back. Your favorite summer boys, the board game mechanics. I'm Joel, and with me, as always, is...
Hey guys, what is going on? It is Jason.
I say as always, but I mean, like, there's definitely a time this summer where I may say, special guest Katie pretending to be me. I don't know. We'll see. I'm just gonna let like all the 6 faithful fans that actually care know that there is a distinct possibility that I may have to take a week off this summer. We'll see what happens. You'll probably enjoy it a lot because there'll be maybe a girl on the show. I don't know.
I'll hold down the fort. I'll make it happen.
Yeah, for sure. I'm going on a trip with my in-laws, so you can't tell them, hey, I'm not going on your trip because
I gotta record
they're
a podcast.
trying to be generous. Yeah. So
Yeah.
anyway, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
Well, the other thing too is if you're coming to us from our new hockey podcast, Above the Boards TV, our new good hockey podcast where we talk about the best checkers in the game who can hammer boys into the boards. Above the Boards TV, our website, aboveboard.tv. That really is. We're just listen. The only reason why I did that is because I'm trying to solidify our reputation as the bad boys of board gaming.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Anyway, that's a good way to get Tommy V and his friends on your bad side.
if they email me and say, "Hey, you've got a domain that we want," I will be like, you know what? Awesome, you guys can have it. Just give us a plug. Like that's all I would want. Like you can have it, guys. Seriously, I'll give it to you for $1 in a plug. So that's all. And I think if you listen to, all we're asking is for you to listen to 68 back episodes plus this episode to find out we're pretty cool boys, and maybe we should get a guest spot on the show. That's all I'm saying. So anyway.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be awesome.
All right. Well, today we're going to talk about what we played, have a little news, and our favorite games from 10 years ago. Also, this is episode 69, so very explicit. Get the children out of the room.
I wasn't going to say anything, but you went there.
I know. Well, it's the best joke we can make until we get to episode 420. So
that's true.
And that's a ways away.
Yeah, that's a long time.
All right. Well, anyway, I'm going to shut up now so we can get to some stuff that you guys care about.
All right. So on Kickstarter this week, I found a couple games that seemed kind of interesting. Well, one I know is interesting because I did a video, so let's talk about that one. And that game is called Promenade. I think this is the second attempt that this has been on Kickstarter because I read some stuff about from people who backed the first one wanting to buy review copies and all that, but the designer didn't want to do that. So what this game is, it's kind of a deck building game, sort of, but you're using the cards to either buy new cards or you're using them to put them in an art display in one of the, I think, 5 different museums. And you're scoring points for having like an area control majority in these museums. And it's a really interesting deck builder with a twist. So if you like deck builders with really cool art and a nice little art theme that really isn't done a ton in board gaming, I would say go check this out. It's $58 and it has 3 days to go when this episode airs.
Cool. Would you suggest this one?
Yeah, it's really good. I did a video for it. I don't know. It was like 6 months ago before the first Kickstarter even happened. And I just have a little prototype copy, and it's super fun. I enjoyed it. I mean, it's just a deck builder, but the thing that I have with deck builders is they're just cards and they're boring. But this one has more stuff going on, so I really enjoyed it.
Cool. Did you play a prototype, like a kind of a rough prototype, or do you have a pretty good quality product in your videos?
It's a rough prototype. There's like cubes with markers on them, and the board is like taped together. Yeah.
So even playing a print and play, like kind of homemade copy, you thought it was decent?
Yep, I did.
Very cool. I have been so busy, and the stuff I need to get reviewed is piling up. So thankfully, I have like 9 days of school left, and like what's going to happen is if you follow us on YouTube, and if you don't, please do, you're going to see like, hey, Joel hasn't made a video in a month, and then I'll probably put out one a day for like 10 days or something. So that's my plan at least. We'll see if that happens. Nice. So anyway, that was not news. Let's go back to news.
All right. Yeah, I have a pile of games too, so you'll be seeing some more games here shortly, hopefully. The next game is, it was way low on the Kickstarter. I mean, I had to browse for probably 10 minutes to get to this game. And it's called DriWe, DriWe, but the W's capital. And essentially, this game doesn't have any videos, it doesn't have a rule book or anything. It just talks about what the game is. And what you're trying to do is you're trying to be the first person to reach 100 happy points in your village. It has some really crude, not crude, but like, you know, first drafts of art and boards. It looks like a roll and move game. It almost looks like Candyland, but the pieces are really neat. It had like some cool treasure chests and houses. So it seems like they might have taken like a roll and move game and tried to make it more than that. But I'm like 90% sure that this is just a roll and move game. But
who are you?
I don't know.
There was Jason?
There was nothing on Kickstarter, man. I was scraping the barrel.
like you're like, this one looks, I don't know, I guess okay. It's a terrible mechanic that I don't like, but it has cool minis. What?
No, I didn't say minis. I said pieces.
Oh, that's very different than minis. Okay.
Yeah, they're like treasure chests and houses, not minis.
Oh, my bad. How dare I? How dare I?
But yeah, if this seems interesting to you and you want to know more, good luck. But it has 13 days left and it's $32. So if you want to take a chance on it and maybe it's not a roll and move game, go check that out.
I'm gonna pass.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna pass too. But
the only thing I like about this game, Jason, is the when we were texting about recording tonight, you and I both kind of had some like corrections where it auto capitalized like some words in the middle of like a letter in the middle of a word.
Oh yeah.
And I thought, oh man, we're getting metal with this. That's awesome. And this game's kind of got the same thing. Like that capital W, it's real metal. So or punk rock or something.
Yeah. I don't even know how you say that word. Like you guys will see it when you put one in the show notes, but I have no idea how to say that at all.
It's also case sensitive when you search on Kickstarter. If you put a lowercase w in there, you got a real pornographic video game coming up for you. So make sure you capitalize that W.
Yeah, it is episode 69, but we don't need to carry it outside of the episode.
Episode 69. They want us to. That stupid furry girl game that they keep asking us to review.
That's
no,
true.
Thank you.
Oh, that's crazy.
I respect the Riveted too much, and I respect my wife too much. So
I'm with you.
How is that review coming, though, Jason?
You'll see a video shortly. No, I'm just.
Well, thanks for the.
I'm just kidding. I'm not really reviewing that game.
I'm editing this week, so we'll see if you are or not. Thanks for the news, Jason.
So I played a couple fun games this week, and I'm going to talk about a few of the games that I played. And the first game I wanted to talk about is a game I've been wanting to play for a bit. It has art by Vincent Dutray, and it is called Lewis and Clark. I think it also has the Expedition in the title. I'm not 100% sure. But so the reason I wanted to play this game, one, because I think it looks cool. The board's really neat. And I saw Rado play it, and he loved it, so I'm automatically on board. So what you're doing in this game is you are explorers. You're trying to be the first player to get from St. Louis all the way across the country to the fort that's up there. I can't remember the name. And you're doing that by playing these cards in front of you to get horses, get canoes, get buffalo to help you make the journey through the river and up the mountains. It takes about probably 30 minutes a player, so it's a little long. And I played a 3-player game in 2 hours, and, that's a little long for me. But the mechanisms were fun. The card play was interesting. The bits are really nice, wooden bits. It's got some worker placement areas, too, on the board where you can send out your Indians to take some certain kind of actions. And if you like interesting card play games and you like worker placement, I definitely recommend this, but don't think it's going to get over quickly. It's going to take a bit. So that's Lewis and Clark.
Yeah, I played this one a while ago, and I didn't like longer games for sure. And I thought it was a little too long for my taste, and a little dry even. But it's cool that the first Americans are in this game, Jason.
Yeah, that's true. I was looking for the Sacagawea card. I never found it.
First Americans, Jason. The indigenous people.
There's also a dog named Seaman, which is kind of funny.
Episode 69.
Yeah, so that's Lewis and Clark.
All right, I'm going to bring you a new segment on our podcast here. Week 5 of not playing Wingspan yet. It's sitting in the hallway, being ready to be played. Not played yet. Maybe this weekend. We'll see. What I did play, though, was I did play Forsaken Forest. This one was on Kickstarter about a year ago. It fulfilled, and now you can buy copies pretty much, I think, at their website. Social deduction, if you're into social deduction, cool. But it's basically a social deduction game where you have a hidden roll, and you're trying to move into you're trying to leave these footprints down to like forge paths so that you can get to these different cards around the perimeter of this board. And some of the cards are the void, and it's like basically if you lead people there, they get sucked into the void and they get killed. And if you're the cursed, that's your kind of goal, is that you want to either kill off the good people or lead them to the void and have them get sucked into the void. If you're one of the good people, then you want to try and find your way safely to the village and banish the people that are going to try and harm you and stuff and minimize their impact on you. So kind of a neat game. It reminds me of like a trading card game almost meets social deduction, because you have like cards that you play down, and the cards like basically do different things. Like you're allowed to do the actions of the cards. So it's not like, it's a little more complicated than most social deduction games because it has a bunch of like card play in it. But typically you're going to just have vote yes or no in social deduction games kind of. So this one's got some other stuff in it, and the way how people play cards, it gives more cues on like maybe why they're doing what they're doing, or if they're a trader or not. The final thing I'll say about it is that it is I don't know, it's good and it's not so good, because I think social deduction is not a mechanic that I want to play a longer game of. Like, so the game lasts 45 minutes to an hour maybe if you've got people who are a little AP prone. So if you want to play a game where you're trying to hide your identity for an hour and you're way into it, like, I think this might be a good pick. But generally speaking, I like the games more like The Resistance or things like that, where it's The Resistance is a bit of foreshadowing because it came out in 2009. But games like that, because you play them quickly, and if you screw up something or whatever, the game's over quick and you just play again, Whereas if you played 40 minutes of a game and then kind of made a bad move or whatever, you kind of blew a lot of gaming. So I don't know. It's pretty intense. And it actually, like, to me, it was like, okay, is this kind of like Blood on the Clock Tower, but like kind of our slightly lighter version of it that's available now? And I don't think so, because there's not really storytelling in it, but it does have more depth to your roles than typical social deduction games. So I will have a full review of this one up. I want to play it with a higher player count. Like, basically haven't been able to play it with a max player count, and I don't get groups of 8 around very often to play games that I'm like, this might be okay. Let's find out. Because people, I don't know, they want to play stuff they know. So been kind of hard getting the review out on this, and so I apologize to the people that sent this one, but I'm going to try and get a review out pretty quick on this one, and it's overall decent. If you're just a nuts for social deduction person, I would say it's for you probably. Otherwise, I'm not positive. It's a just general gamers kind of thing. It might be a niche interest kind of thing maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, it's interesting that you said it's selling on their website. I think I actually saw a whole pile of these at my local game store once.
Really?
Yeah. I think last time I was there, they had a whole bunch of them on the new release shelf.
I'll bet they bought a retailer's backing of it. I don't know.
That could be, because there were like maybe 10 of them. So that could be.
This game was kind of hyped for a while because it was supposed to be like the next step and evolution in social deduction games. And it is. It's more complicated, but I don't know. I need to play it more, to be honest. So there you go.
Cool. I played, for my second game, I played a party game, kind of. And that party game, kind of, is called Concept. Yeah, I got this from you. I hadn't played it. Katie really wanted to learn it because she wanted to play it with some ladies from her church, maybe at like an upcoming gathering or something. So we were over at some friend's house on Saturday, and we busted it out. I was on a team with our other friend's husband, and Katie was on the wife's team, and played it about 30 minutes. And essentially what this game is, it's like charades, kind of, but without all the getting up and moving around. So you get to sit in a chair and be, large boys, And you're taking these little pieces that are like exclamation marks or question marks, and you're putting them on pictures that represent words. So there may be like a TV for like a movie or whatever. There's a little guy that could be a man, masculine. They each have 3 different words that they could mean. And you're trying to use these pictures and these words to explain a word on a card. There's 3 different types of words. There's easy, hard, and challenging. The challenging ones are phrases. And if you can get a person to guess the word, that person who guesses it's going to get 2 points. And the team that gave the clues, each player is going to get a point. The game's going to end after a certain amount of the 2 victory point tokens are gone, and then whoever has most points is the winner. I didn't hate this. I thought it was kind of interesting. I thought the abstract thinking of using the pictures to tell the story and explain the words was kind of interesting. So this may be one that I might want to play again with a different group and maybe with some more people to see if more than 2 teams is a little interesting. So that is Concept.
Yeah, I think this game isn't a game so much as it is like a like kit for like playing just kind of fun charadesy type things. It's like, I don't know, it's better than Pictionary because you don't have to be able to draw, and it's kind of neat just to kind of get the kind of interesting combinations of icons that people get to try and make a like abstract idea come across. So it's pretty neat overall. I kind of like it, but just not enough to hang on to it on my shelf. And that's why Jason's got a pretty sweet little copy of Concept. So, but I really think of it as like a kit to just, I don't like keeping score on it, and like playing it as a game to me isn't as fun as just getting it out and just being silly and just like, I don't know, playing around with it. So that's my personal takeaway on it. But yeah, I like it perfectly fine.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I like the game, playing it as a game, because then it doesn't outstay its welcome. I feel like when people use these games to just sit down and play them as activities, you get the Cards Against Humanity syndrome where you're playing for 4 hours and the joke was over after 30 minutes. So yeah, that's not for me. But playing it as a game, I enjoyed. I thought it was still fun. So yeah, I like it.
Yeah. The game's fine too. I mean, for sure. Well, cool. I played Super Dungeon Explorer, Jason, and this is one that like is kind of weird because it's from Soda Pop Miniatures, which is not a very well-received company anymore. They had a Kickstarter fund years ago, and it was the second edition of this, I think Forgotten King, or I don't remember what it was called, but there was another version of Super Dungeon Explorer, I think, that like a second edition kind of that was going to come out and have like an arena in it and some other stuff changed to it, and a bunch of people paid a lot of money for it, and it never came out, or it hasn't come out yet, as far as I know. I could be totally wrong on that. If I am, like, let me know. But last I knew, and this was not that long ago, it was still like not even in production. So I'm playing the old one though. I actually painted my copy. It's really fun to play because it's painted. It's neat. It's a Dungeon Explorer, which I'm not super keen on, but since I took the time to paint this one, I have hung on to it. The rulebook's not very good. So like the other Rado, Rodney Smith, other Rado, as I call him, he did a let's play of it, or like a how watch it played kind of thing, to get the rules down. And you kind of have to watch it like a couple times to really understand all the nuance of the rules, because the basic game, like the rulebook, does not explain it very well. So I don't know. It's a cool game though. It's a video game themed, like old 8-bit, 16-bit Dungeon Explorer video game kind of thing. And it does require that someone play as the dungeon lord or whatever. So that kind of hurts a game sometimes, in my opinion, because the person who's I don't know. I guess I don't know. It depends. Sometimes you have people who love playing as like the dungeon lord and putting the mobs out and being the AI for the game, but I hate it. And like, I'm the one who knows the rules the best, so I end up always having to do that. So I have mixed feelings about this one. I think people have a lot of fun playing it, and it looks really cool on the table because my copy is painted. And I love the idea of like playing like basically like a video game on a board. Just the art on it's really bright and colorful. Like the gear that you get, like it just feels a lot like Legend of Zelda or something. So really fun, Super Dungeon Explorer. And kind of an older game. It could be as far back as 2009, but it didn't make my 2009 games list. So anyway, that's this boy's game that he played.
Yeah, I'm not interested in this one at all, but I do think it looks cool on the table. I always go to their booth at Origins just because I think the games look neat. I know that I would hate them, but I think they also have that Rail Raiders Infinite game or something, where you're like these bandits on a train trying to steal treasures or whatever. But yeah, I'm not into it, but glad you liked it.
Huh. I do like it. I mean, like, it's a pretty good game overall. I mean, like, for a dungeon crawl, like, it's my go-to dungeon crawl in my collection right now. I guess Imperial Assault kind of is a dungeon crawl, but and Mansions of Madness maybe, but like, I don't know, the actual true like dungeon crawl, gear up a guy and go, just because the theme is so adorable and the little chibis are great. So that's my other game I played, and I guess that's it for games we played. Jason.
Yep. Moving on. So today, I thought maybe it would be a cool idea to talk about games from 10 years ago. It's 2019, so that would put us at 2009. And then I got to looking at the games from 2009, and I instantly regretted my decision. But we're going to talk about these games anyway. Some of our favorite. I have 3. Joel's going to have 3. So if we don't have any overlap, you might get 6 great games from 2009.
I have such an opposite problem. I love like 50 games from this year. Like, there's so many games that I'm just like, man, that game is great. So I guess we're not the same. People used to say we're the same boy, but we aren't. So
yeah, I struggled this year.
Did you?
Yep.
All right. Well, go ahead, Jason. Are you going first or am I?
I can. That's fine.
Cool.
All right. So my first game, which will be my number 3 game of the year, is Tanto Cuore. It's one of my favorite deck builders. I like it mostly because Katie likes to play it, and it's a game we can play together. It has some risque artwork with little anime girls in panties and stuff, which I could do without. But the gameplay is really fun. It's like Dominion, but it has a couple different twists to it that makes it a little more gamey, in my opinion. I have like 3 different versions of it, and you can mix them all together, and just like you can with Dominion. So if you like Dominion and you're not turned off by the risque artwork on this one, I would say give that a go. And so that's my number 3, Tanto Cuore.
Yeah, your wife, the feminist, and I mean that like totally seriously. Like, your wife is a feminist for sure. Like, she and you're a feminist too. Like, you guys both kind of love this game a lot for it being like, as like, I don't know, like I guess what am I trying to think? Chauvinistic as it is, maybe, I don't know. So I mean, it definitely like views women as property in this game, which is something that you said you could go without, and I'm with you. But I've heard the mechanics in this game are awesome. So I think I'll probably play this at some point and just do that whole like bounce my eyes off the naughty parts that I need to do.
It's actually not as bad as people make it out to seem, but I mean, I could do without it.
I think it's the implication probably as much as anything. Like, honestly.
Yeah,
so.
That's true. Yeah, it's true.
Yeah. Well, Jason, my numero 3 game, which means number 3 for those of you who don't speak Spanish, is going to be, I'm going to go with Summoner Wars, because Summoner Wars is a game that I've really loved for a long time. It's a good game. It's basically like a real advanced version of chess, maybe, or a kind of like a miniatures game without miniatures. You're just playing cards, moving around on this grid. Basically, the version I have has 2 playmats, and you unroll the playmats, and you look at like your startup for like your faction you picked, and there's a certain array of cards that you need to put out to start the game, and then you have a deck of cards that you're like kind of drafting cards from, and you're moving your guys around, and you're trying to shoot with ranged attacks and melee attacks, and if you kill the other person's people, like their mobs, they go into your like magic pile, and then at the end of your turn, you're allowed to discard piles into your like mana pool, basically, and then you use that to pay as a currency to get other cards out on the board, which makes for like kind of some interesting choices in there. And it also really like, it doesn't let you set up. It doesn't let you like lay back and set up a really nice like defensive game. You really have to be offensive because you need to go out and get cards because they are currency. So beating people and getting their cards is worth doing so you can get more cards out. And it's a neat game. I really like it overall. Every faction plays really differently. Totally not your kind of game, Jason, at all, but I like Summoner Wars a lot. So my number 3.
Yeah, when I was going through the list, I found a lot of games like this from the year that I've never played and will probably never play just because they're not my style. And I know a lot of people like this game, and had I played it, I mean, maybe I'd like it, but I haven't, so that's why it's not on my list.
The part of you that likes Magic the Gathering would have liked it, but I think Jason present day won't like it or wouldn't like it, so I would say, nah, skip it.
Cool. All right. Noted. My number 2 is a game that we've talked about an awful lot on this podcast. It's by our boy PDB, Philip DuBarry, and that is Revolution from Steve Jackson Games, the one amazing Steve Jackson game that is in existence. And this game is an auction game, pure auction, and from those auctions you're doing area control. So not only are you going to make people mad by going to a place they wanted to go, but you're also going to make them mad because you're bidding in the same area that they're bidding, but you're outbidding them. So it's a game that people can get kind of irritated at. I've gotten irritated at it, but I still enjoy it. So if you like auction kind of mean games, you like area control, go check this one out. You can find it for pretty decent prices on BGG. So I recommend it. Number 2, Revolution.
It's because it looks like it has the worst box design of any game I've ever seen. It looks like Philip DuBarry like inkjetted from Microsoft Paint a box cover, and that's kind of the story how this game started, I think, honestly. So maybe they just took his graphic design, but it doesn't look great. And then like the other thing too about this game that bugs me is it says like Revolution ! And it has like the Illuminati thing and all that. But in bigger letters than that, I think it says Steve Jackson Games presents Revolution in much smaller letters. So, but it's a very good game. And I knew you were going to pick it, so I didn't even touch it. And I wanted to try and not cross over with you because there's a lot of games I like this year. My number 2, Jason, is one that I think you would like to play. And it's one that I've talked about before. It's a rondel game where you're working with produce to deliver produce to fincas, and the game is called Finca. Really cool, like next steps, not super heavy, kind of like a pretty lightweight game. I would say it's not quite gateway, but not really heavy at all. It's a good introduction to rondels for sure. Just kind of cool how some of the choices come, and like, I don't know, it feels like it has enough connections to games like Ticket to Ride and other basic set collection games that like it's something that someone who's played real basic gateway games will be able to understand and be at least somewhat competitive at. So it's pretty cool, and it has mule carts. So that alone makes me think it's cool. Also variable setup, which is kind of neat. Just, I don't know, rondels are cool. And I know you feel the same way, and I think you'd like to play this one.
Yeah, I definitely do want to play it. So sometime I'll need to actually just play it when you bring it around, because every time you brought it, I'm like, let's play something else.
Yeah, it's short, so I mean, we could work it in pretty quick.
Yeah, that's cool. I'll give it a go next time.
Jason and Joel speed playing it 2 players, we'd be done in like 7 minutes probably.
Yeah, because we don't think on turns. We just play and go with it, see what happens.
Yeah, I love it, man. I'm like, oh, it's my turn again already? Awesome. We played Antiquity in 14 minutes? That was pretty great.
Yeah. Twilight Imperium, I think, was 23.
Yeah, and those were like 23 minutes of your life that you'll never get back, bud. Sorry.
Yeah, I still regret that time.
All right. Bring a good game to us, Jason. Number 1, right?
Yep, my number 1. I think it's great. You, not so much. But as I was looking through 2009, this was the one that struck me as my favorite game of 2009 across all the ones that I played, and that is Vasco da Gama from What's Your Game. I know you don't love it, and I mean, it's dry. It's a really dry theme. The game is pretty dry, but it has some decent worker placement decisions and kind of some moving your ships around stuff, and the little action selection mechanism in the middle where you have to take an action, put it on top of your worker when you send it out, and that's going to be the order in which they fire. Is kind of interesting, and it's like a little push your luck deal where you may have to pay money based on the economy and all that. So this is a fun game that I don't get to play a ton, mostly because I don't want to teach it, but I enjoy it a lot, and that's Vasco da Gama, my number 1.
My number 1, Jason, is going to be based on potential. I played this game one time, and I loved it absolutely so much that I am salivating to play it again, and I may end up playing it this weekend and talk about it next week too. But I couldn't even tell you the theme on this game. It's like developing trade routes or trade houses in a network. And then once you get your network built well enough, you can build into these cities and get certain bonuses. But as you're doing all this, you're uncovering things on your player board, which make you more powerful as the game goes on. So it's just kind of cool how you're all it's the multiple paths to victory kind of thing is present on this. But it's kind of that thing where if you're familiar with Terra Mystica or what's the other one? Plans
of Caledonia.
Caledonia, yeah. that idea of like as you take more things off and put them on the board, like you get better at things, or you like move things up basically on your player board to get better at like certain things. It's kind of opposite actually, because you get better at doing certain powers during the game, and like because of that, it just feels really gratifying to feel like you're building something. And you get the same feeling of like I'm building something, and when I do this, I get tons of stuff. Like the way how you get, dairy products in clans. You're like, oh man, I'm such a good dairy boy because I have all my cows on the board, or whatever it is. I haven't played that game recently enough to remember, but I think it's cows, right?
Yes.
Maybe not. I don't know. Everything's very small in that game, and my eyes aren't very good. So I think it's cows, though. And I think you confirmed that. So Hansa Teutonica, and no one knows how to say the second word, Hansa. And then I think it's Teutonica. There's another game called Hansa. And so I try and abbreviate this game as Hansa sometimes. I'm like, hey, you may want to play Hansa. And Hansa's a game from like 2004 that's really bad. When there weren't many games to pick from, like you had to pick the German ones with the bad translated rules. And so people are like, no. And like people who've never played Hansa Teutonica won't play it because they think it's Hansa. So that hurts me a little. But anyway, that was my favorite game of 2009, Jason. And you should go find a copy and play it. Even though it's a little out of print right now and kind of hard to find. It goes out of print from time to time and it comes back in. So hopefully it comes back in.
Yeah, I haven't played this one yet. I want to. It looks dry and awesome, right up my alley. So someday.
It's very much up your alley. It's so, I mean, like, and it has the stoic looking ugly guy on the box, which, I mean, like, that if that doesn't say Jason's kind of Euro game, then I don't know what does.
Yeah, that box is awful.
Yeah, it is. It's like Marco Polo bad, honestly.
Yeah, it is. It's terrible. It makes the Kalis box look amazing.
Yeah. Oh, that's one that I need to play too. Man, I have so many games I want to play. I just need to have board game month and just play and not sleep and whatever. So
I'm with you. That'd be awesome.
All right, Jason, I'm not going to do an honorable mention because I have 100 honorable mentions, but I'm just going to go through real quick the games that I loved this year. And just, it's very different than you, I guess. Dominion's okay. Intrigue came out this year. Jaipur, Jaipur, whatever you want to say. Jaipur, I love that game. It's so good. Cyclades is pretty good. Small World is perfectly fine. Macau, I think you like that one, don't you?
I haven't played it because it's criminally out of print, but I want to.
And 10th anniversary is going to come out this year. We hope.
Yeah,
right?
hopefully.
Aegisia, Tales of the Arabian Nights, Summoner Wars I mentioned already. Just a lot of good games. Thunderstone, that's a good game. Mr. Jack in New York City, I kind of like that one at times. It's not great. It doesn't hold up very well. Dice Town, that's one that you guys play.
Oh, I love Dice Town. It's on my short list.
So that's one that came out this year. Campaign Manager 2008, not bad. Not as good as I think 1968's the other one. Yeah. Isn't it funny that Campaign Manager 2008 came out in 2009?
Yeah, that is funny.
So, yeah, a lot of just good games came out that year, I think. So, I don't know. It's, I guess maybe I have special nostalgic feelings because this is when I was like really kind of first getting like enthusiastic about board games. That was about 2009. So, yeah. Richard Scarry's Busy Town I Found It game was 2009.
I think this was a couple years before I actually got into it. I think I got into it 2011. So I didn't play a ton of these games, but I have Dice Town, Small World, The Resistance, and a party game called Truth Be Told, which I have played a ton of on my list.
Yeah, The Resistance is another good one. Cards Against Humanity came out this year.
Yeah, I left that off intentionally.
Castle Panic, that's okay.
Yeah, that's all right.
Steam. Ooh, Steam, Jason.
I bet I'd love to.
Yeah, I think I would too. Yeah, so I mean, there was a lot of stuff that came out that year. Automobile, I would love to play that one too.
Been trying to
Martin
trade
Wallace.
for that. Yeah, it looks interesting.
Yeah. Anyway, they has another one called Aeroplanes. AERO Planes. That looks
named
really
after
cool
the
to me,
Chili
too.
Pepper song.
Is it?
I don't know.
Didn't the Smashing Pumpkins have a song named that too? Like the airplane flies high.
Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, cool. Now that we've lost our audience entirely, let's give you guys a password. The password this week is Jason loves to Cards Against Humanity while playing The Resistance, and he did a miniatures game for the news.
Bits, not miniatures.
Decorative bits. Shaped decorative bits that were smaller than they're smaller than real life, but they aren't miniaturized.
Right.
The Smallers. Jason's a big fan of Smallers games.
Yep. That's the way I roll.
All right. Well, hey, I'm going to do this. This is fun. If you would like to record us a intro, don't say shut the door because it's not us. But maybe say like wrench sounds. Welcome to the show. Hi, boys. This is Johnny from Walla Walla, Washington. And seriously, like record yourself, make it appropriate, and send it to BG Mechanics or Board Game Mechanics at bgmechanics.com or Joel at BG Mechanics or Jason at BG Mechanics. But just send us an email with an attached file, just something under 10 seconds, and maybe you can get on the intro of the show. And I'm calling on you, members of the Riveted. There's, a solid 6 or 7 of you guys out there that own smartphones that can record WAV files and could send it to us. So do that. Anyway, I'm out of words, bud.
Yeah, me too. I got nothing.
Cool. This will be an easy one to edit, and I will make it have that nasty edit I talked about earlier. I don't even remember what I was going to do, but it was something.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, no, what was it? I don't remember. Anyway, I definitely didn't do it because I'm a kind boy to Jason. He's good to me. I'm good to him. So, all right. Yeah, enough yammering.
Yep,
keep gaming. So the bonus, though, beyond this is a little bit of an outtake. This is something that Jason and I both. This is like good bonus material for you guys. Jason and I both got really sweet deals on these board game bags from BoardGameTables.com. And let me tell you something, guys. These are worth full retail price for sure. Like you can get one for $34. Go find one and buy it. It's awesome. And I never was a board game bag guy ever. I was like, who needs that? This thing is kind of game changing. Just saying.
Yeah, I used mine and it was amazing. That is all.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. The form factor is great. So there's your outtake. It's a special pro tip. Yeah, keep gaming again.
Gaming.
I really am going to play the outro music before that.